Briefly, we speak about the Vedas. The Veda was the beginning of our spiritual knowledge. The Veda will remain its end. These compositions of an unknown antiquity are as many breaths of the eternal mother of knowledge, from which our succeeding ages have all been fed. Thus declared Sri Aurobindo. In the Hindu tradition, Veda is a single collection of all mantras, revealed to various rishis. From this single source, the sage Krishna Dvaipayana Vyasa compiled 4 collections. They are Rigveda Mantra Samhita, Yajurveda Mantra Samhita, Samaveda Mantra Samhita, and Atharva Veda Mantra Samhita. These 4 collections are mentioned by name and function in several Veda mantras. As the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad declares, all these 4 collections of mantras are the oral revelations of the Supreme Being to the rishis. A Veda mantra is outwardly a poetic verse. At a deeper level, it is the expression of the intuition, arising out of the depths of the soul of the rishi. It is the voice of the rhythm, which has created the worlds and is still creating perpetually several of its aspects. A mantra is packed with the power of tapas, ascesis, of the rishi, to whom it was revealed. Even a person who has no earlier exposure to the Veda can feel its power when a devotee chants it in the proper mood. It is Veda's time, Veda's first question. At least some 5,000 years ago, whatever time you say, much earlier than our Indus Valley civilization. So people say, times have changed so much. After all, people like me who are always who are confronted with our technological changes, even we are worried about that. So they never had all the problems. After all, they were all farmers, simple farmers. So do you think what they wrote has relevance today? Standard question. And therefore I have standard answers also, and therefore I am going to share with you. The reason is, first of all, Veda is not the work of one person. For example, in the Christian Bible, 4 books are there, but all of them deal with the teachings of our Jesus Christ, for example. And even, for example, but the Veda's speciality is that, remember there are 4 of them: Rigveda, Yajurveda, Samaveda, Atharvaveda. Rigveda is not a small book, let me tell you, 10,500 mantras. Some of them are at least 24 syllables. Big set is a Trishtam, 48 syllables, not simple things. But there were 400 authors among them, not one person. There are a few ladies here. You may take heart that at least 30 of them were women. And as a matter of fact, the most famous sukta here is due to the lady Vakambrani. Aham rudrebhi vasubhi charamyam adityai ruta vishve devaihi. She identifies herself with the entire universe. Aham rudrebhi vasubhi charami. I move with the vasubhis and the rudras. And he says, whomever I want to make sort of a rishi, I make him a rishi. That is this idea. That is Vagambrani. It occurs, Rigveda is divided into 10 mandalas. Therefore, it is in the 10th mandala, 125th sukta. That is this idea. And therefore, other people are there. Apala is there, Gosha is there. So many names are there. I given a list. And also, you should remember, in those old days, everybody had access to Veda. You have to remember it again and again. Shukla Yajurveda, 26th chapter, 2nd mantra says, teach Veda to all people who you know, whom you don't know. These strangers and everybody, women, men, Shudras, and so don't say that Veda was reserved only for the Brahmins and that sort of thing. Okay? So that is, I am quoting 26.2. That is, our Shukla Yajurveda has 40 chapters. Before 26 chapters, the second verse is this idea. Therefore, Veda always, in some sense, remember, they are in some sense words of wisdom. But Vedic people never made a hard line between what we call a spiritual life and worldly life. No, sir. They said there is only one life. That is the idea. Whether you are married, you are bachelor, that's not the idea at all. Therefore, in some sense, they understood the idea that the wisdom cuts across all the things. And it is not enough to practice meditation for half an hour or 15 minutes. In some sense, during the whole day, you have to, in some sense, be in touch with what we call as the Supreme. Therefore, for that, they were divided, this I just told you, Rig Veda has 10,500 mantras. Therefore, it is in that sense, people always ask. Rig Veda, you see, as you know, most of you, many of you are from engineering idea, or accountant, doesn't matter. Attention in modern life is for details, that is this idea. Therefore, our Bangalore is a bad ship because we don't pay attention to any of the details, whether it's removing garbage or sort of preparing the roadways, no attention. Veda always said, pay attention to the details. That is this idea. Only. Second point they said was, your whole life, don't imagine, it is like shall we say, we are journeying in this life. Therefore, so notice your journey, how when you are young. Always there are higher powers are there which are assisting you. In the Veda we call them as Deva. Divi is light. I like this name. So the idea is this light is there and we should try to utilize that light. And then what should we do? We climb to higher and higher in our level of consciousness. So Vedic idea again and again is, don't start wherever you are, it is possible, number one. Don't compare yourself with other people. Don't do that. First point of the Veda is the uniqueness of an individual. Each person, we know, our population in the world is 6 billion. And we are 1.2 billion in India itself, you see. If you always remember this, that what is it? Uniqueness of an individual. But ask this question, Dharma, what is it? Very simple formula. You live prosperously. Nobody says live poorly. No, sir. But you allow others to also to live prosperously. Live and let live. That is the difference, I think. India showed, Nivedita may say Brahmins were living in poverty. No, poverty was never the ideal in India. Simplicity is the ideal. What is poverty? I am hungry, I can't get food, that is poverty. But simplicity means, I don't like the night food anyway. Doesn't do, I want to be little light. That is simplicity. For example, 60 years ago, when somebody came to us, what did we do? We took a mat and put it and said, please sit there. We also sat there. No sofas and that sort of thing. I'm thinking of 65 years ago. So that is simplicity, that is idea. Advantage of that is we could easily clean the house. No thing is there. Put some water, here no problem at all. Here, all the dust will be behind the sofa, so nobody touches them. The 10-foot pole, that is the modern culture. So the argument really again and again is that the idea of a simplicity in life. That is the idea. And therefore happiness comes from simplicity. Less things we have attach ourselves. Therefore you may say, what are the great things? I will tell you a few great things. For example, one thing I tell you is, we are all worried about newspapers will tell you about the ecology and that sort of thing. But the first verse of this sukta, people who talked about earth and humanity ecology, is our Vedic Rishis. The Rig Veda, 12th mandala, first sukta, first mantra. Satyam Rutam Brihat. Don't remember this earth is only made up of dust and that sort of thing. Therefore, made up of Satya, the truth, great absolute truth. And Ritam, the truth in the movement. Movement has also a truth. And Brihat, the vast. It is supported by Diksha inside. tapa, intenseness, Brahma and the mantra and that. Therefore, the earth, bhutasya bhavyasya patni, she knows the past and the future. What is my prayer to the mantra? Hey, don't give me cows. No, that's not the idea. Uru lokam krunotu. Uru means wideness. Oh mother, please widen me. Allow me to see all the things, new things. For example, people recite our Gayatri mantra. What is the middle part? Bhargo devasya dhimahi. Meditate on the Bharga, the splendor. What is the splendor? You go into the park, each leaf is different, each flower is different, each tree is different, each bird is different. That is Bharga. Therefore, let me look at all this variety of the splendor. Then only then a new idea comes, you can appreciate. Then Dhiyo yonaha prachodayat. So that is the Vedic idea again. So don't complain about that. Secondly, another modern idea is empowerment. That is the idea. You always women's empowerment, this empowerment, that empowerment. But that idea was there long time ago in a much better way. For example, most of us, it's a very common idea in the United States at least. People want to take a course in painting. They are registered in a course, go for 3 classes and stop. Something happens. My child got sick, I got a transfer, the 100 reasons are there. For people even in this country, for example, people take Hatha Yoga classes. But ask this question, how many people practice Hatha Yoga after going to that class? You'll be surprised, not even 5%. I have made a statistic out of that. That is this idea. What is the reason? We don't have enough willpower. Therefore it says, why don't you develop the willpower? Not ordinary willpower to kill other person. Willpower associated with the wisdom. Therefore, our Veda says, 100 methods may be there, but one sure method is the Agni Devaha is there, what we call simple fire. He is the Lord of this willpower, Kratu. Kavi Kratu, he is the Lord of the willpower with wisdom. If and every day we recite for 10-15 minutes Agni mantras. The first Sukta Agni mantra is there. Agni Mile Purohitam Yajnasya Devam Rutvijam Hotaram Ratnadhatamam. This Agni, what do? We pray for him. Agni Laya Supataraye. Oh Agni, lead us among all the straight path. The path which as a unique person I should do, not other people's path. Now what is it? Everywhere there are obstacles are there. I myself don't have much strength. Therefore he says, you fight on my behalf. Yo the azmate juhurana meno. That is this idea. You help us because we are not that competent anyway. Therefore you help us. This is the prayer to Agni every day. That is the Agni. Therefore Agni ayahi, hey come Agni ayahi. What should you do? You bring all other gods. If you want the cooking, so many things do you need, 100 things. You need energy, vegetables, this, that, count all. So many different forces are needed. Therefore, Agni should bring all the forces. Therefore, if I want to write a book, I not only take computer walas are there, but then printing, so many problems are there. Only problems, that is this idea, not solutions. Therefore, the idea is that Agni should come and bring all the helpful powers. I need teachers, yes, no problem. I need books, no problem. Therefore, that is the reason we say Agni. Oh, see, Devan Avaha. I bring all the other powers also to help me complete the task. So, Agni not only develops our willpower, he helps us and getting in touch with all the other powers. So if you every day chant our mantras for about 10-15 minutes every day, at least twice a day, and that's all. Veda is the place where it respects manual labor. It says only the person who works. He is the person who attains the higher level of spirituality also. Therefore, one who sweats, some releases the sweat, that's the idea. Swada is the twist, that is this idea. There are several mantras in the 5th mandala saying work is important because why? Two reasons. All of us know, see, there is most of you know, there is a word called soma in the Veda. Therefore, our distinguished Western translators made it into intoxicating liquid. They thought just as we take liquor, before Indra takes this soma and becomes wild and that sort of thing. But what is the support for that? Rig Veda itself says, it is true, there is a creeper called soma. You crush it, you get a juice, we use it in the Soma Yaga, no problem there. But it says, what the wise people, Brahmana, know as soma, nobody can drink it. That quotation is in the 10th Mandala, 85th Sukta, 3rd Mantra. Therefore, in some sense, what is soma then? Veda says, when you do work consciously, when you do work in some sense, for example, look at the children, especially 3-4, they can play for 10 hours continuously without any problem at all. What is the secret? No, you call them for food, no, they will be poetry. So when you do work consciously, what happens is, this ananda drips as it were from the work. That is what we call the joy of ananda. So what should we do? You should take the joy. Hey, this joy came because of the power of the devas. You should offer it back to Indra and other people who made our work easier. Then what happens? Positive feedback is there, or ananda increases. Therefore, the idea in the Veda is the source of, we view work as a source of joy. That's the reason soma is so important in the Veda. The entire 9th book of Rig Veda, 9th Mandala, deals with the idea of soma. That is the idea. Therefore, that is the reason we say, Apama somam amarta bhuma. Apama somam, drinking this soma, he became immortal, amarta bhuma. Therefore, what is soma? Soma is like a most important Rishi. It is very important in each category. And therefore, when we in some sense come into contact with that. So people say, how did it happen? See, remember in those days, agriculture or activity meant making a cart and everything. Source material was wood, or cooking for what is source material. It is our grains. Therefore, it says when nature manufactures the wood or the grain, it puts all this delight, the soma into that. Therefore, when we crush it, for example, cooking, for example, then automatically we are releasing the soma, that's all. Therefore, that is the idea of the joy of the eating the food, the joy of working. Therefore, we are the people, you see, for example, as far Max Weber, the famous German, basically said the Germans are hard-working because they think of work as a ethic. But we Hindus, Vedic Hindus said, we work because work is a source of joy for us. It is a way of communing with the divine. That is the reason we work. That is the difference between the completely two different things, you see. So, you take in some sense any activity at all, any direction. For example, take education. Yes, I have almost given my time. I will make one point here. Most people, unfortunately, all of us remember when no child, most of you have children, doesn't learn how to walk perfectly. It falls 20 times before it can walk perfectly. That's a common experience. Same thing in Veda chanting. First time you chant Veda, you make 100 mistakes. But at least be conscious. Try to improve. Therefore, don't think the gods have no better business than looking into your mistakes and putting into a black book. No, sir. Please have a little bit more respect for the gods. They are all your friends. For our prayer for Agni is Agne Marishama Vajantava, O Agni. Let there be no break between me and you in our friendship. For example, first Sukta says, Sanah Piteva Suname Agne, O Agni. Treat me as your son. I make mistake. Hold your hand and help me all along. Therefore, the gods are there to help us all the time. Therefore, don't worry about accent, doesn't matter at all. Give complete respect for each word. For example, Tat Savitur Varenyam. Nyam. Pronounce it 100%. Dhiyaha Bhargaha Devasya Dhimai. Bhargaha. Pronounce correctly. Bharga Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Naha. So the idea is completely correctly pronounce the syllable. Don't worry about the accent. There are always a PhDs and there are masters and there are ordinary matriculates like us ourselves and that sort of thing. Therefore, don't worry. First thing, least you can do is, for that reason, you get your book in a Kannada script or whatever script you are used to. That way and also make it bigger. Make sure that you get the compound letters always. Bhargaha Devasya Dhimahi. Bhargaha, very splendor. For example, I am speaking, 50 people here. For 50 people. Sarvam Kalu Idam Brahman. What is it? Everybody is Brahman. Therefore, I am addressing the Brahman. That is this idea. Therefore, everywhere, every time you see any creative activity, here is our manifestation of the splendor of the Brahman. So why not appreciate it? A good food, for example, a good scene, a good scientist, and of course a good program and everything else. Therefore, appreciate this Bharga, this splendor, which is all around. Then what happens? Your creativity will increase, definitely. How do you increase? If you want creativity, you must widen yourself. That is this idea. Therefore, you don't simply say shortage of water. Therefore, rain comes in, just store the water. Very common, it doesn't require Einsteinian intelligence to understand the simple idea. We don't do that. No, sir, we don't do that. We want somebody else to make the water and push it to us. Ask this question, why can I not store the water in my house? Rain falls everywhere. Not only his house, it also in my house also. Therefore, changing the equations, that we should develop this quality of cooperative working. And the Vedic word for the cooperative working is yajna. That is the idea. Yajna is the cooperating work between the cosmic powers and our fellow human beings and ourselves. So, when a person really becomes perfect in yajna, Veda mantra says he is almost equal to the gods in the power. That is the idea. Therefore, let us improve our idea of the yajna. Collaborative action. That is the most important. We can practice it every day also.